Hey guys, I'm your host Griffin, and today's topic is: at what moment did you realize you were dating an idiot? Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. I had been dating this girl for a few months and it was Christmas time. We weren't super serious, but it was serious enough that I was buying her Christmas presents. I found something for her that was perfect and it had a connection to some funny event involving her and my cat. So I made the present from the cat. I thought I was being cute and she would make the connection. Instead, she got pissed that my cat got her a present and I didn't. I thought she was joking. To make matters worse, we were at her parents' place and they backed her up. It was extremely awkward and I realized it wasn't going to work out. When she pointed up at a bluish star and sincerely asked, "Is that Earth?" When she surprised me by inviting her mother on our 16-day Hawaiian cruise. She got me mad libs, and when it was her turn to do a noun she asked, "What is a noun?" I said it's a person, place, or thing. There was a long silence as she thought. It went on for so long that I thought she must be thinking of the best noun I had ever heard. Then she said place. When I saw her water her plastic plant for the third time. She kept trying to put food inside the rolling pin and then trying and flatten it by just rolling it around. Was on a hike and was following a trail I had read up on online. We get to a fork and I say, "Okay, now we need to go north." She says, "Haven't we been this whole time?" Confused. I look at her and ask why she says that. She replies, "North is the direction in front of you." Yeah, still not entirely sure about the origins of that logic. In my defense, this was back in 2004. I found it charming and endearing that he did funny voices, made funny idiosyncratic jokes, and occasionally called me M-Lady. Then I saw Anchorman. Oh my god, he literally was doing a 24/7 Ron Burgundy impression, eclipsing his entire personality. I'm not sure I ever really met him. That the past was black and white, she was serious. She tried to argue that we could get to the moon easier if we just built a spaceship that could go underwater, and flew it through the ocean to the moon during the daytime rather than straight up. When she told me that babies could only happen if there were love, and the only way to get pregnant from a rape is if you loved your rapist. He shot himself in the leg twice while cleaning it. The same gun, 2 weeks apart. Edit. Sorry. Yes. Cleaning the gun, 9mm. Shot himself in the calf the first time, then took out his kneecap the second time. Same leg. Took months of surgeries to fix it. We were at a restaurant and she saw a picture of a buffalo and said, "I wanna eat that pig." I was dying laughing. Probably one of the funniest people I've dated, but definitely wasn't too sharp. My ex thought that whenever I missed his call, the phone would still be ringing even after it went to voicemail. I got at least 3 voicemails a week that consisted of silence and the odd annoyed, impatient sigh. I showed my wife this thread and she reminded me that I used to think yeast infections were a result of eating too much bread. Yeah. My ex-girlfriend is 5 feet 4 inches and petite. She wouldn't eat all day and have 3 martinis and black out. She would then claim she was allergic to alcohol. We were laying out under the stars and he asked why some were brighter and others dimmer. I told him that there were different sizes, brightnesses and distances away. Confused silence. "You mean, they're not stuck up there?" I'm lying there thinking this can't be true. But oh yes, it was. Upon further questioning I found that he believed the night sky was a big dark blanket-like thing with stars stuck on it. The fact that our sun was a star also blew his mind, and that just like our sun, other stars could have planets. Too much. I was crushed. I almost broke up with him there and then. But he was very earnest and wanted me to teach him. So I tried. 2 years later and a whole lot of stupid later, we broke up. She thought Scotland was its own island, as in separated by water. We live 30 minutes from the border. He insisted that women cannot be doctors, only nurses, and vice versa. He said that the two are the exact same thing except one is male and one is female. Edit. He was in his early 20s. When she told me that she'd never been to France, I knew for a fact she went to Disneyland Paris every year. Paris isn't in France, she insisted. Watching a wildlife documentary and my girlfriend asked me if bears laid eggs. He thought the Nation of Islam was a place. When I explained to him this was not the case, he responded with, "Agree to disagree." Oh wow, Halloween is on Friday the 13th this year. No, it's not. Is that an albino duck? That's a dove. When she thought flashing red lights on the road, as in traffic lights blinking red, meant you were entering a different time zone instead of indicating a stop sign. I can't get my girlfriend to understand that Celsius and Fahrenheit are the same thing. She thinks Celsius is cold and Fahrenheit is hot. He truly believed that you regrow your virginity after 6 months of no sex. Edit. This was a conversation we had a year in, so no, this wasn't the first indicator of idiocy. With 2 of our friends, his belief had nothing to do with the hymen or religious constructs. He just thought 6 months of no sex equals poof virginity. My girlfriend at the time genuinely believed that it was the headless horseman that ran the Lexington and Concord shouting, "The British are coming, the British are coming." We were out to dinner and he was reading the menu and he said, "What's a green bean?" "Excuse me, you don't know what a green bean is?" He said, "No. Like I know what a green bin is, but what is it?" "Same guy. I have rabbits and one of them hopped by him in the living room and he said, 'Oh my God, what's wrong with him?' I said, nothing." "What do you mean?" He said, "Why is he jumping like that? Did he hurt his legs?" He had never seen a rabbit hop. He thought they walked like cats. She was out for a run one day and when she came back she said an animal charged at her. So, she cut her run short. I asked her what it looked like, and she said, "Like a cow, but brown." It was a cow. Driving down the road and the moon is visible during the day. Her, how is the moon out at the same time as the sun? Me, sometimes that happens. It's not that uncommon. Her, no, they are the same thing, so how can we see both at the same time? Me, the sun and the moon are 2 different things. Are you serious? Her, yay, not everyone went to college like you, schoolboy. Me, you learned this in like 2nd grade. She was in her early 30s. When he told me, quite seriously, about how people with enough willpower can survive by photosynthesis. Boyfriend took me to a fancy restaurant and we ordered wine. When the waiter came back, he gave my boyfriend the cork to sniff. My boyfriend grabbed it, sucked on it and licked it like a lollipop, all excited while the waiter looked uncomfortable, poured our glasses and slunk away. My ex was the oldest of 6. We had been dating for about a week, both 20. I commented, "You have wide hips for a man." He replies, "It's from carrying children." I was totally baffled till his youngest brother walked in and he picked him up and held him to the side, rested on his hip, as you do with toddlers. I had to sit him down and explain that you don't get wide hips from literally carrying children around. She was a pretty hardline vegan and proceeded to order gelato for dessert. He was getting his license renewed and they asked him if he wanted to be an organ donor. He said no. When I asked why, he told me it was because he didn't want the government to come knocking for any of his organs when he still needed them. He really thought that becoming an organ donor meant that, at any time, his organs could be taken. When she stated that an onion turns black after being cut because it's absorbing toxins from the air, she threw a butter knife at a light bulb in a crowded restaurant because she didn't like that it was flickering. Said her dad told her the giant wind farm fans in Central California were to cool things down and she believed him. Me, when you were a kid? Her, no. Last year, my girlfriend and her best friend got in an argument whether or not Canada was a language or a state. He wrote a love poem about my brown eyes. My eyes are green. When I found pictures of her with another guy, it was on our shared home PC, not hidden. Frick you, Sharon. We went to Grill House and she was amazed to learn steak came from cows. Also the fact bacon and gammon came from the same animal confused her. He called lunchery linguine, as in the pasta. We were playing with my dog when my boyfriend remarked I thought he was fixed. I said, yes, of course he's fixed, but he still has a penis. He thought fixing a dog meant removing its penis. He decided that he didn't want to poop while staying with me in student halls, so he didn't poop for 10 days and seriously messed up his digestive system. When he told me he hadn't filed taxes in 4 years, she claimed to have a doctorate in emotionology. A doctorate? I asked her what her master's thesis was on and what her dissertation included. She looked at me like I was eating doorknobs retarded, insisted it was a legitimate study, got angry if her friends didn't call her doctor when introducing her, kept a ledger of unacceptable words and colors that were not to be used in her presence. Her field of expertise proved that these words and colors oozed negativity and bred evil, causing murder, etc. One of the worst parts was meeting this whack job gaggle of friends she had that believed all this shit. It's like the stupid could be contracted and spread. I could talk about that brief relationship for hours. The absolute horse shit this person believed, or fabricated, was dumbfounding. Then there were completely logical concepts that just seemed downright alien to her. She could not grasp them at all, such as the difference between the light spectrum of color shades and pigment shades. He actually believed that if you had money, it was because God thought you were a good person, and only bad people were poor. The truly ironic part of this was that he couldn't get enough work to make a living, and had to ask his wealthy father for handouts all the time. I was trying to carefully manage the breakup since we worked down the hall from each other, when he decided to dump me because he didn't like who I voted for in the election. She called to our SVP to a surprise party. She called the person who the party is being thrown for. When I asked her how she didn't know, she said the invitation wasn't clear. I looked at the invitation and it said in big letters SHHHH. It's a surprise party. We were sitting there stargazing, having a good time and all, when she blurts out, "Nickelbrick, do you think that our son might be a star?" Being totally genuine about it. I asked him about the class he was taking at community college. Him: "It's going okay, better than last year. I failed it twice." Me: "Must be a hard class. What's it about?" Him: "Learning strategies. He failed a class about how to learn, twice." When he said that buying condoms was too awkward, then defended it by saying contraception isn't a big deal anyway. Also, when he said that a man can't rape a woman if they're married, we aren't dating anymore. We were out having a few drinks. He said his tooth hurt. He just pulled it straight out of his mouth. I guess it was rotten anyway, but holy shit, who the hell does that kind of thing? Only thing he could talk about was sex. I couldn't have a normal conversation or it turned into sex talk. When he answered his cell phone in the movie theater and proceeded to have a loud conversation with his dealer during the movie. I asked my ex-girlfriend to meet my friends at a restaurant. When we finished, she said, "Why are you dating me? Your friends are all really smart and I'm not." She was a pretty cool person, but she became very insecure and manipulative after that. I wouldn't have ever broke up with her except that she insisted she was stupid and kept trying to sabotage the relationship. Making Kool-Aid. How much sugar does it need? It says on the package. Just tell me. 1 cup, okay? There's only a 1/3 cup here. Where is the whole cup? I don't know. Just use the 1/3 cup. Well, how many scoops do I do? Then, it's 1/3 of a cup. I don't know fractions. Just tell me. I'm not going to tell you. Figure it out. It's 1/3 of a cup. How many do you think it would be? I don't know. Average sized hat, Logan. Just tell me. 3. The girl was 20 years old at the time. I'll never forget that. Please subscribe if you like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.